Hello and welcome. It is so nice to be with you here today. Today we are going to get started laying down on our mat. So I'd like to invite you to take a comfortable resting position, whatever that means for you. If you prefer to be seated, by all means feel free to do so. I'm going to guide our opening meditation laying down. So if you want to meet me in that nice resting position, feel free to make your way there. Maybe the feet stay on the ground, maybe you extend the legs out. Just find what works in your body. Once you find your cozy resting position, gently draw your eyes closed. And let's take the next couple of moments to truly allow ourselves to arrive here and now for our practice this evening. Take a moment to release and let go of everything that you've done today. Let it all just drift away from you, all the conversations, all the things that you did, all the places you went. Let it all go. And also take a moment to let go of the future. So anything that's on that to-do list, there will be a time to get that done. Now is not that time. So let it all go and really grant yourself permission to let it go and to be here fully in the moment. Right now, there's nothing you have to do but to just be here and now with yourself and in your body. Take a couple of moments to just let yourself settle in. Begin to relax your body towards the support of the ground beneath you, letting the body sink down towards the ground, letting the back of the head get heavy, allowing the shoulders to fall down, back rests towards the ground as the hips and legs sink down. Relax the jaw and your facial expression, softening the eyes and the forehead. And simply begin to feel your breath. Notice the ripple of air in and out with every inhale and exhale. And allow your mind to simply rest on the sensation. Notice the beautiful feeling of the breath in your body and just be with it. Allow the mind to be filled with the task of feeling the breath, letting everything else sink to the background. Be with your breath. Feel it in your body. Let everything else go. Throughout this evening, we are going to practice patience. We're going to explore the concept patience with our bodies, our minds, our lives. What does being patient mean to you? What does the word patience evoke within? If you could embody the energy of patience, how would that feel right now? Just explore what it means to you. Be patient as you feel every moment of the breath, as you gently fill the lungs on the inhales, and on the exhales, let air release. Be patient rather than rushing from an inhale to an exhale. Be in the moment with every portion of your breath. Be patient with the breath in your body. Melt into it. If you'd like to stay resting on your mat, feeling every inhale and exhale, then by all means feel free to do so. If at any point during practice you'd like to come back to this posture or do anything else that feels better in your body, then please do so. This evening is for you to honor exactly what you want to do and where you want to go. My guide and postures are only a suggestion, so please listen to your intuitive space within. If and when you'd like to begin to flow, follow an inhale to reach the feet out towards the front of your mat. Pull the hands up overhead. Give yourself a nice, long, full body stretch. On your exhale, gently hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the legs, and begin to rock side to side. Notice how your body feels. Check in with the shoulders, the neck. Feel into the back body, the hips, possibly even the legs. Stay in the body. Stay with the breath. Be with yourself. From here, we are going to make our way up to tabletop position. So your choice, you can roll over to one side and press yourself up, or you can begin to rock up and down, eventually arriving in a seated posture, and then bringing the legs behind you and making your way to tabletop. Take your time, move slowly through the transition. Find what feels good for you. Once you get to tabletop position, bring the big toes to touch behind you, spread the knees wide, take a big inhale. On your exhale, sink on back, child's pose, hips towards the heels, and allow the body to drape down towards the mat. We're going to start our first flow together here. Take some big breaths in child's pose, let yourself sink down. Bring the mind to the body and what you feel. Using the breath as an anchor to the present moment, feel the inhales and exhales. We're going to introduce a moving meditation next. So whenever your next inhale arises, slowly begin to press up to tabletop position, hands and knees moving consciously and slowly. On an exhale, begin to sink back down to child's pose. Again, exhaling consciously, slowly, following your breath. Continue this movement, following your inhales to rise. When you're done inhaling is when the shoulders will be stacked over the wrists. And your exhale, slowly sink the hips back to the heels. When you hit the bottom of your exhale is when you're at your lowest point in child's pose. A couple more rounds. Feel the breath, feel the body as you move. And try to really synchronize mind and body here. Move in unison with the breath. Coming to the present moment. If you want to close your eyes, feel free to do so. Feel the body lift and lower you. We'll eventually meet up in child's pose, taking a couple moments to rest and notice how we feel after the moving meditation. Take some big breaths. Feel the breath expand the back body on the inhales and relax your body down on the exhales. On your next inhale, gently lift your head up off the ground. Look forward, moving into a twisted version of child's pose. Exhale, place the left elbow down in front of your face. Inhale, stack your palms and begin to press them in towards each other, trying to stack the right elbow directly over the left one. You'll begin to twist here. Breathe deeply. Relax the shoulders down the back body, and if you notice You're lifting the chin, craning the neck. Try to keep the chin, pulling it in towards your chest like you're holding an orange or a grapefruit between your chest and your chin. Relax your jaw, breathe deeply, notice what you feel. One more big breath. Beautiful. Exhale, drop the right elbow down. We're going to swap them out. So right elbow comes to the ground. Inhale, left elbow lifts. Great job. Pause here, really press the palms into each other. Breathing deeply, really trying to stack elbow, palm, palm, and elbow, making one straight line. Chin gently pulls in towards the chest, keeping the back of the neck long. Couple more big breaths. You got it. Notice what you feel in your body. And allow yourself to be as you are. You're perfect. One more big round of breath. On your exhale, slowly lower the left elbow down. Reach those hands out in front of you. Back to child's pose. Sink on down. Pause here for a couple big breaths. Again, feeling the effects now of that revolved child's pose that we just did. Breathe into the body, inhaling space, exhaling anything that no longer serves you. Stay with the breath. And on your next inhale, gently make your way up. Tabletop position, hands and knees. Once you get to tabletop position, make sure the wrists are under the shoulders, knees, hips distance. Find your exhale. Moving through cat-cow, inhale, belly pulls down, heart pulls through as the gaze goes up. Exhale, round, looking towards the knees, thighs, the belly button. Inhale, belly draws down, shoulders pull away from the ears. Move through the back body and the spine. Exhale, round, lifting the shoulder blades. Inhale, belly pulls down, look up. And feel free to begin to add organic movement. Maybe shoulders come towards the hips on one side and then the other. Maybe you drop the hips back and do hip circles around the knees or shoulder circles around the wrists. Just kind of explore your back body. Explore your spine. Keep the jaw soft and stay with your breath here. We'll organically move for a couple rounds of breath. So find what feels good, find what works in your body, find the release that your body needs tonight. Couple big breaths here. Find what feels good. And we'll eventually make our way back to child's pose. So on an exhale, big toes touch, knees spread wide, sink the hips back to the heels, and rest the upper body towards the ground. Once you make your way to child's pose, take a couple big cleansing breaths, inhaling and exhaling deeply to the fullest extent. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and just melt your body down. Feel the breath through the back body. As you're here, I'm going to recap our first flow for you. So feel free to either just listen to my voice or prop your head up to watch me on the screen as well. Whatever works for you. For the first part of this flow, we were in child's pose. So we paused here for a couple big breaths and then introduced that moving meditation. We inhaled slowly up to a tabletop position. And we exhaled back down. We repeated this motion for a handful of rounds of breath, really trying to synchronize our movement with our breath. From here, we paused yet again in child's pose, felt the effects of that movement in the body, and eventually made our way to twisted or revolved child's pose. So we stacked the palms, elbows on top of elbow, and found a nice twist on each side, held for a handful of breaths as well, and then again landed back in a neutral child's pose. Paused here for a couple big breaths, and finally made our way to some beautiful cat-cows. So it's your choice whether you want to do classical cat-cow by looking up and down with the spine undulating, or adding more organic movements, maybe moving side to side, dropping the hips back, the shoulders around. So find what works in your body for a couple rounds, and then eventually, yet again, make your way back to child's pose. So just as a recap, it's kind of like child's pose sandwich, if you will. Child's pose, moving meditation, so child's pose to tabletop. From there, child's pose. And then we made our way to revolve child's pose on each side. Again, rested for a couple moments in child's pose. And then finally made our way up to some cat-cows. So moving meditation, revolve child's pose, cat-cows with a rest in child's pose in between. So take the next couple moments for yourself. You can do all, none, or some of that, but find what works in your body and your practice tonight, and I'll be here to guide your awareness and your mind. As you flow, allow your breath to truly be the beat of your practice. Allow yourself to initiate every inhale and exhale before you move. Follow the breath. Allow it to be your guide. The word spirit is Latin for breath. When we spend time with our breath, when we move with the breath, we in turn allow ourselves to be with our spirit, with our true selves, with the bigger picture in life. While it may seem monotonous or just like a task at hand, being with your breath serves a far deeper purpose. It allows you to rest in the here and now, to truly be. So synchronize your movements with the breath. Let yourself surrender to being here and now. As you make your way through this flow, how can you be more patient with your mind? What would that look like for you? As you flow, as you spend time with yourself, you will notice the mind thinking. How do you react when you notice this? How can you be patient with the mind? How can you redirect your awareness to the breath without attachment to any judgment? Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be with yourself as you are right now. How can you embody patience with your mind throughout this flow? Practice patience. If you are doing the flow that we just did, notice your approach. Are you doing the flow to get through it, to get done with the postures? Or are you truly allowing yourself to feel the postures in the body, to feel the breath within the poses in the body? The end will come when it comes, the time will be eventually. But can you be patient with the process? Can you let yourself just sink into and melt into every moment in the body? To truly be present rather than working towards a goal or an accomplishment or finishing something. Just let yourself enjoy the process. Be patient with every step of the way. As you move throughout this flow, really use the feeling of your breath in the body as your anchor to here and now. Feel your inhales and exhales to the fullest extent. When you notice your mind taking you on any sort of ride, any tangent, whether it's on an internal or external distraction, become aware. Awareness is the most beautiful step that you can take. From there, you can decide whether you want to stay in the mind or come back to the present moment. When you decide to make your way back, feel the breath again in the body and start over. This is not so much a practice of staying here and now, yet it is a practice of coming back, a practice of returning to the breath, a practice of coming home. Be patient with your mind. Be patient with yourself. Embody patience. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need. This is your time to be with yourself. So if you need more time to flow, please feel free to do so. If you want to go off and do your own thing, or just stay where you're at, by all means, there's no need to proceed with me. If you do want to eventually move on to the next flow, we'll find our way to child's pose. So maybe you make your way there, maybe you take a couple extra stretches on your way, but we'll all eventually meet up there in order to move on to the next flow. Again, the choice is yours whether you do so. Once you make your way to child's pose, just take some big breaths. Maybe you even inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Stay in the body with the breath. Notice how you're feeling so far throughout your practice. Check in. And we will start our next flow in downward facing dog. So on an inhale, gently make your way up, hands and knees, tabletop position. On the exhale, curl your toes under, lift your knees up, and press your weight on back, downward facing dog. Pause here for a couple big breaths. Maybe you pedal out the feet, bend the knees, shift the weight forward and back or side to side. Feel your body and give it what it needs right now. Opening up the backs of the legs, getting used to the head being below the hips. Breathe deeply. Couple more big breaths. When your next inhale arises, begin to walk the feet all the way up to the hands. If you need to bend the knees to get there, feel free to do so, or walk the hands back towards you. We'll land with the feet hips distance, all 10 toes point forward, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold down. We're going to hang heavy in this forward fold for a couple of breaths, so find a forward fold that just feels super good for you right now. Maybe that's just hanging in the air with the arms wrapped around each other or dangling down. Maybe you sway side to side or bob the head in a yes-no fashion. Wherever you're at, completely relax the back of your neck, allowing the crown of the head to pull towards the mat beneath you. Breathe deeply, allow the spine to decompress and blood to flow back towards the brain. Melt into this posture and let gravity do its job on decompressing the spine. Couple more big breaths. Be with what you feel. Notice what you feel. Let yourself feel. Beautiful job. If your arms are bound, gently release them down. Exhale. Inhale, rise up halfway. Pull the heart forward. Pause here. So breathe normally, breathing in and out. All right, add a soft bend to your knees if you have not had a bend in them already. And from here, we're going to bring our palms to touch with prayer hands at heart center. We're going to try to even out the body so we're at a 90-degree angle. Our body, the torso, parallel with the ground. Thumbs in towards the chest. You should feel the core working here as the low belly gently pulls in, the back body's keeping you lifted. If this feels like enough, you're going to stay right here working on the core strength, all right? If you want to move one step further with me, shift your way over to your right foot. We're going to make our way possibly all the way to warrior 3. So on an inhale, left foot gets light. Maybe you just bring the toes out behind you. Maybe the foot partially lifts, or you try to even out your body, making it parallel to the ground beneath you. Find where this works for you. Find a gazing point on the ground beneath you, somewhere to look at. If your leg's all the way lifted, try to lift the big toe side of your foot up towards the ceiling. Pinky toe side lowers, so we're finding this kind of rotation of the hip to point downwards. 2 more big breaths. 1 more. Now if you're in the full version, see if you can hug the knee in towards the chest as you stay here. If the foot's lower or on the ground, just bring the knee to a bend in front of you. Maybe the leg's hugging in, and inhale, can you rotate and come all the way up? Again, it's okay to just tap the foot on the ground or grab behind the thigh. Find what works in your body right now. Breathe deeply. Work with yourself and your balance. Toes can tap on the ground, that's okay. 1 more big breath. Tadasana. Slowly lower the foot down. Exhale. Feet, hips distance. 10 toes point forward. Bring the hands by your sides. Palms face forward. Nice, strong standing pose. Crown of the head lifts up. Feet root to the ground, low belly pulls in, kneecaps lift up towards the hip points, chest pulls up. Breathe deeply, find a nice strong body, mountain pose. Eyes can be closed or open towards the gazing point. Beautiful job. Same flow other side. To reset, it's your choice. You can simply step back to down dog or move through a vinyasa. I'll guide through a vinyasa, but if you prefer to just step back to down dog, be my guest. Inhale, hands sweep up, palms touch. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Lower yourself down to the mat. Inhale, low cobra, peel the heart up. Exhale, curl the toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Great job. Same flow other side. So take a couple moments to be in your downward facing dog. Again, you can either add movement or make it a stagnant down dog at this point. If you're in a stagnant downward facing dog, heels press down, knees press back. Really press the ground away through the hands. On your next inhale, begin to walk the feet all the way up to the hands. Rise up halfway. Once you get there, exhale, forward fold. Pause in the forward fold for a couple big breaths. Hanging heavy, letting the body decompress. When you're ready, we're going to find our half forward fold. So again, feet hips distance, all 10 toes point forward on your inhale. Rise up halfway, pause here, resume your breath, so breathing deeply. And when you're ready, maybe on an inhale, the palms come to touch at heart center. Add a soft bend to your knees if you haven't already, trying to make the torso parallel with the ground beneath you, okay? Low belly pulls in and up. You can stay right here, that's perfectly fine. If you want to add a little balance to this, you'll shift the weight over to the left foot. Maybe the right toes just kind of drag behind you and you work on lifting them up off the ground. Maybe you lift the leg, paralleling your body towards the ground beneath you. Outer right hip draws down to the mat, so big toe lifts up, pinky toe kind of points down. Couple more big breaths. Warrior 3. Relax the jaw. All right, we're going to move through our transition. So maybe you simply hug the knee into the chest right here. Maybe you just kind of drag the foot and hold behind the thigh, whatever works in your body. Pendulum yourself on up, hugging the knee in towards you. Maybe you, again, just work on balance or hold behind the thigh. Find what works in your body here. Breathe deeply. Feel how strong the body feels throughout this flow. On an exhale, slowly lower the foot down, making our way to Tadasana, mountain pose. Hands by the sides, palms face forward. Crown of the head lifts towards the ethers. Feet root down through the ground. Kneecaps lift. Low belly pulls in. Glutes squeeze. Heart shines forward. Fingertips really reach towards the ground. Eyes are open or closed. Totally up to you. Breathe deeply. Feel the breath in the body. Your choice whether you want to move through a vinyasa or just step back to down dog. Again, I'll lead the vinyasa. Inhale, hands reach up, palms touch. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward. Exhale, step it on back, plank pose. Lower yourself down. Inhale, low cobra, maybe it's up dog this time. And your choice, exhale, down dog, or child's pose for your reset button for the flow. So take a couple moments, find what works in your body right now. Notice how you're feeling. And as you are here, I will recap for you that flow. It seems like a lot, but I'm going to break it down so it doesn't seem like so much. We did it on each side, so it was a little longer than normal. So we started the flow in downward facing dog. Pause here for a couple breaths, really began to feel into the body. From here, we made our way up to a forward fold. So we're gradually making our way up to standing in this flow. We hung heavy here for a couple breaths. Breathe deeply, let the spine decompress. Okay, so now we're making our way up to the next step to standing is rising up halfway. So we pulled the heart forward, low belly pulled it in, maybe brought the hands up to the heart center, really beginning to work the core, the back body. Crown of the head reached forward. And then after we paused here for a couple breaths, possibly shift the weight to the right hand side first. Maybe that left foot got light. Maybe you just worked on lifting it. Maybe it came all the way up to a warrior 3 type pose. We pause here for a couple breaths and then pendulumed on up. So your choice whether you just kind of drag the foot or hugged it in and pivoted all the way up to standing. Again, this posture, you can work on tapping the foot, hold under the thigh, or hug in towards you. We paused here for a couple breaths and then made our way to a strong standing posture in mountain pose, really working, making everything in the body work here. So we're not just standing limp, we're igniting the body. All right, from there we either move through a vinyasa, so we plank pose, chaturanga, up dog to down dog, or simply made our way back to downward facing dog. So just as one more recap, after that we did the same thing on the other side, but it was down dog, forward fold, half forward fold, so we lifted up halfway, brought the palms in towards the chest, warrior 3 option, hugging the knee in towards the chest to stand up, and then mountain pose, Tadasana. So down dog, forward fold, half forward fold, possible warrior 3, pendulum on up, hug the knee in towards the chest, Tadasana. You can do all of that, some of that, none of that. You can make up your own flow if you don't remember it. So that is a-okay. So find what works in your body, be creative, go to what feels good for you. And again, One time on each side. You can do more or less, whatever feels good. I'll be here to guide your mind. Though this flow may seem like a lot, stay with your breath and your body. That's the goal. Getting the whole flow, every part of it correct, or achieving any posture, that's not why we're here. We're here to be with ourselves and our body. So find where you can find that state, that connection within. Maybe it's with all, none, or some of those poses, but our first primary goal is to be with the breath, to feel it in the body, to let ourselves just be here and now. So as you're approaching the flow, let go of what's coming next or what you just did. Just be in the body and let your body move you. Again, all these poses, all these flows are just suggestions. Be easy with yourself and let your body express how it wants to be right now. Feel your breath. Feel the body. As you approach this flow, how can you be patient with your body? How does patience with your body look? What would you have to change to be patient with your body? How would your practice or flow differ if you were truly patient with your body? Sometimes we want to go to the fullest extent of every posture. We don't want to meet ourselves where we're at today. We want to be able to do it all and go to the furthest extent, but yoga truly is meeting ourselves where we are at. It's being patient with the process. It's trusting the process, and that when we meet ourselves where we're at today, meaning moving to the point where we can stay in connection with the breath and the body, that over time when we do that, when we practice that, what we are striving for will eventually come to us. The goal is not to achieve anything external or physical, but just to be with yourself every step of the way. Because the human condition is almost that of which we're always striving for something more. We're always working towards that next thing. And every time we get to that next thing, we almost forget that we even wanted that because we already have something else in our sights. Being patient within is enjoying everything every step of the way. It's being here and now and loving the process for what is. Because no matter what, we're always going to want more. We're always going to strive for something next in line, and that is okay. But if your happiness is contingent on that, then we run into some troubles. So when you're here, be patient with your body. It's okay if right now you can't fully balance in a posture. That will come. You're practicing. It's okay if your legs need more opening, if your feet need to open up, if you need to gain more strength in the core, that's okay. Love yourself for how you are right now. Be patient with your body. Let yourself just be with your body as it is, because right now you're perfect. As you continue to flow, embody patience for your practice, for your body, and breathe through that. No matter where you're at in your flow, notice where your mind is, what you're thinking about. If and when you're ready to come back to the present moment, feel the entirety of your breath in your body. Feel the inhales and exhales and how beautifully the body just breathes itself. Connect with that spirit within the breath. Be patient with your body. Love exactly what it can do right now. Stay connected within every time the mind takes you away. Become aware and simply find your way back. Stay with the breath and allow the breath to be the beat of your practice. Allow the breath to be stable, strong, and full. We do not speed up our breath to get through the flow. We allow ourselves to be with every moment, with every portion of the breath. Surrender to here and now, feeling the breath in the body as you flow. Are you embodying patience for your physical body right now? How can you be more patient with your body? What would you have to change? What would you have to continue doing? How would that feel within to be patient fully with your body? If and when you complete this flow, feel free to find a comfortable resting posture, maybe child's pose, or continue to flow in ways that feel good for you. Let your body take you where it wants to go, and that might be simply resting. Honor yourself and where your body wants to be. If you're still flowing, please take your time. Stay in the body with the breath. Let everything else melt towards the background of the mind. For our final flow of class, we will eventually meet up resting on our bellies. So your choice. Again, take your time. There's no need to meet up there right now. You can join in at any moment if you want to, but we will eventually meet up resting on the bellies. So maybe you find your way there, maybe not. Again, this is your practice, so find what works for you tonight. And once you make your way to resting on the belly, maybe you stack your palms, rest the forehead down on them, and just take a couple moments to reset, to check in, to feel. Feel the breath in the body as the belly presses towards the ground, the back expands on the inhales. On the exhales, your body sinks down. For our final flow, we'll work through a series of gentle back bends. When you're ready, gently lift the head up off the hands and bring the hands behind you. You can bring them just by your sides or possibly clasp them just over the low back. Find what works in your body tonight. Take a big breath. Feet stay on the ground, kneecaps gently lift, pelvis and hips press down. On your inhale, can you just gently peel the heart up, hands lift up off the low back. Exhale, slowly lower, set the forehead down. 2 more times. Inhale, gently shine the heart forward, lift up. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, peel on up. Exhale, lower. Let's hold this next one. Inhale, lift up. Pause. Low back squeezes, glute squeeze. Breathe deeply. Make sure you're breathing. One more big breath. Exhale, slowly lower yourself down. Maybe you rest a cheek down on the mat. Breathe deeply. For our next posture, you can do what we just did or move on to locust pose. When you're ready, on your next inhale, lift the head up off the ground. Exhale. From here, hands and feet will lift up off the ground. So inhale, lift the hands up, feet lift up, chest lifts. Exhale, lower. 2 more times, then we hold. Inhale, body lifts. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, lift, low back squeezes. Exhale, lower. Let's hold this next one. Inhale, peel it on up. Pause. Couple big breaths here. Really shoot energy out through the fingers, the toes. 1 more big breath. Make sure you're breathing. Exhale, slowly lower. Rest the opposite cheek down on the mat. Take some big breaths here. For our last posture, we have option for bow pose. If you want to do anything that we just did, if bow pose is too deep right now, by all means, feel free to do either the first version or the second version. If you want to move to bow pose, you'll bend your knees, flex the feet, and then grab a hold of the ankles. Let's try to keep the knees and thighs down on the mat as we lift. So on your inhale, if you're going to bow pose, kick the feet back, press the knees, the thighs down, really working into the thoracic, the upper spine. Breathe here, breathing deeply. Couple big breaths, and again, it's okay to go to any of the versions we just did. Don't have to be in bow pose. Relax the jaw, soften the shoulders. 1 more full breath. On your exhale, slowly lower down. You can stack the palms and rest a forehead or a cheek. Bend the knees and allow the feet to fall side to side in windshield wiper-like motions, adding a gentle release to the low back. Feel your breath be in your body. Again, let everything else go. You gave yourself permission to be here for your practice. Honor that. Everything else has its time. Right now, this time is for you. Eventually, let the feet come back down towards the ground. And that's our last flow. So I'll recap for you. We started with hands bound by our sides, feet and legs staying down. Lifted and lowered as many times as you wanted, and then ended by holding the posture for a couple rounds of breath. From there we rested, and then made our way to locust pose. So hands and feet lifted, we lowered, again, couple rounds, and then we held everything up for some breaths, and then came back down. From there, after we rested for a couple moments, we had the option to do what we just did, any of those poses, or bow pose. If we move to bow pose, we bend the knees, grab a hold of the ankles, try to keep the thighs and the knees on the ground for this bow pose, and then we lifted on up, held for a couple big breaths, and then lowered back down, rested, and maybe add some windshield wiper legs going side to side. So yeah, that's our flow. It was hands bound, lift and lower, then hold. Locust, same thing. And then from there, option for bow pose. Take your time, rest as much as you need throughout the postures. Whenever you're done with your back bends, make your way to child's pose and or a forward fold. If you're in child's pose, the knees will come close to each other. Forward fold, legs extended. Wait till you're done with the back bends for those, but make sure you add those in. Take your time. I'll be here for you. Breathe deeply and let yourself just be as you are. Take the next couple moments for the final flow of class. Continue to flow with your breath. Feeling the breath in your body and allowing your breath to be the beat, the pace of your practice. Relax your jaw and your shoulders throughout these poses. Feel your body. Stay within. When you notice the mind wandering, simply come on back. As you move through this final flow of class, how can you embody patience for yourself and your life? How can you embody patience for yourself and your life? So much of life these days is very instant, revolves around instant gratification. We want things here and now and right away and as quick as possible. And a lot of the times within the body and within the scheme of life itself, things take time to unfold, to develop, to make way. I like to think of the idea of planting a seed in the ground. So many of us have this concept or notion that it's not going to work out. We got to take control. We got to see if the seed is beginning to take root, if it's all working out, rather than trusting and having faith that with time, given the proper environment and situation, that seed will become a beautiful plant. The seed does not grow overnight. It does not become a plant within a matter of minutes or seconds. Life requires patience. How can you be patient with the unfolding of your life, with the unfolding of yourself? How can you embody that and breathe through that throughout this flow? What does that mean for you? Rather than searching for a mental answer, just let yourself breathe through it, to embody it, to relax into it. Again, if and when you complete the back bends, please find your way to some sort of forward fold to release the low back. So again, that might be child's pose, that might be legs extended and folding forward. If you're still flowing, take your time. If and when you're ready to meet up for the closing of practice tonight, we'll meet up laying on our back bodies. So again, take your time. If there's a couple of stretches you want to add in before you meet up there, then feel free to do so. Listen to your body and only move to where you want to go. Once you make your way to resting on the back body, gently hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the legs. And maybe you add a gentle rock side to side, gently pressing the low back and the hips down towards the mat, finding a nice release, low back massage there. Stay with the breath, feeling the inhales and exhales. On your next exhale, straighten the left leg down to the mat. Keep that right knee hugging in towards you. Inhale. Exhale, right knee comes across the body to the left-hand side. Arms come to a T-shape, twisting. Maybe you set the left hand on the outside of the right knee. Maybe you send your gaze over the right hand. Find what works in your body. It's okay if the knee doesn't touch the ground. Breathe deeply. If this is too much for you, you can always bring the left knee under the right knee as well. Honor your body. Be patient with yourself and where you're at today. Breathe to the right side body wherever you're at, feeling the breath ripple in and out along the right side. On your next inhale, gently bring the right knee back up to center, give it a hug. Exhale, straighten the leg down to the mat. Same thing other side, so inhale, left knee hugs, and exhale. Big inhale, and on your next exhale, drop the left knee across the body toward the right-hand side. Arms come to a T-shape. Maybe you rest the right hand on the outside of the left leg. Maybe you look over the left hand. Breathe deeply here. Send your breath to the left side body. Really try to feel it in that region. Relax your jaw. Maybe you even close your eyes. Let yourself wind down. On your next inhale, gently bring your knee back into center. Give it a hug. Exhale, straighten your leg down to the mat. We'll make our way toward Shavasana. If there's any last stretches, postures, shapes that you want to take before Shavasana, feel free to do so. We'll all eventually meet up resting on the back body for Shavasana. Take your time if there's anything else you want to do. And once you make your way to Shavasana, our final resting pose, gently draw your eyes closed and begin to invite in a soft, easy, relaxed nature to your mind, to your body, to the space all around and within you. Begin to relax even further, starting by softening the crown of your head. Relax your forehead, soften the eyebrows. Allow the eyes to sink back towards the skull. Relax the temples and the cheekbones. Soften the jaw. Relax your lips, soften the teeth. And gently float the tongue down away from the roof of your mouth. Soften your ears, the back of your head, and your scalp. Relax the back of your neck, the sides and the front. Open the throat. Melt your shoulders down towards your back, to the ground beneath you. Soften the upper arms, the elbows. Relax the lower arms and the wrists. Relax your hands, allowing the fingers to naturally curl inwards. Soften your chest, relaxing into the space around your heart. Soften the rib cage in your belly and allow the back body to ripple down to the mat, softening the muscles in the back as the spine decompresses. Relax the low back, the sacrum. Soften the glutes, the hips, and the pelvic region. Soften the upper legs, the knees. Relax the lower legs and the ankles. Allow the feet to naturally splay outwards with gravity's pull. Every toe gets a little bit lighter. Notice if you're holding on anywhere else in your body, and let it go. Let the body just melt away and surrender to the ground beneath you. Soften the mind as though it's a muscle itself. Let it relax, melt, and fade away like the rest of your body. For the next couple of moments, let yourself drift off into this state. As you rest here, invite in an energy of patience. To me, patience is kind, it's loving, it's everlasting, it's here and now, it's beautiful. Let yourself drift off to that. Gently begin to invite the awareness back into your body. Maybe you deepen the breath or add subtle wiggles to the toes, to the fingers, to the wrists and ankles. And only when you feel ready, gently roll over to either side and pause there, resting in a fetal position. Take all the time you need. Eventually, make your way all the way up to seated. Again, take your time, moving slowly and consciously. We'll eventually meet up in a seated posture with the eyes gently drawn close and palms touching at heart center. Take a couple of moments to consciously realize how you feel right now. Draw your awareness to your mind, to your head space. Observe, notice how it feels. What word describes the state of your mind? Gently draw your awareness to your body. Notice how it feels. What word describes the state of your body? Eventually, bring your awareness to your emotional well-being. What emotion do you feel right now? And just notice, just observe, and let it be. You're perfect just as you are. Give yourself a smile and really thank yourself for showing up here tonight, for dedicating your time to your health, your life, and your practice. And thank you so very much for sharing your beautiful energy and practice with me here tonight. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.